Good morning, back on track. Many restrictions will soon be lifted as Indiana moves to stage 5 of reopening this weekend. This morning, we've got what you need to know.
Plus, here we go again. Beta beats up parts of Texas in one of the most active hurricane seasons in recent memory. Just ahead, how people down south are recovering.
And sweaty September weather. The 21st night of September might have already passed, but it's not feeling like fall just yet. It will soon, though. Your weather forecast in moments. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal Weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
The 21st night of September. Oh, I've been singing that all morning long.
It's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day.
Yeah, we are ready to go here this morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm Tyler Brummett, and look who's back.
Madison Surface.
Yeah, so happy to have you here this morning,
Thank
filling
you.
in for Annie, who's enjoying a much-needed morning off.
Yes.
And by the way, with everything going on, this was originally planned. This was the plan all along, so we don't want anyone to think that something is wrong. She'll be back with us next week. I'll actually be taking the week after off, so yeah, we'll kind of be getting a little bit of rest here. And you know what? The weather is nice out there. It's feeling like fall,
yes.
even though it's been feeling like summer
That
a lot
sweater
recently.
weather.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. So we want to go ahead now and get it over to Chris Guevara. Good morning, Chris.
Well, good morning, Tyler. And this morning was definitely a big, beautiful morning. Cooler temperatures, clear skies, and be able to see that sunrise. Currently, right now, we're sitting at 56 in Indianapolis, 52 here in Muncie, 49 for you folks up in Kokomo. Now, what we're going to be seeing throughout most of the day today are these sunny conditions. Temperatures this morning reaching around 54, but reaching a high of 78 degrees later today around 5 p.m. Now, we're going to be tracking warmer temperatures still continuing to rise throughout most of the day today, and we're going to be continuing to still be tracking this throughout most of the day. Radar, mostly clear skies, dry conditions, and we're definitely going to be seeing this throughout most of the day. So what we are tracking, lots of sunshine. These warmer temperatures still continuing on throughout the week, but cooler weather is eventually coming later next week. I'll have all those details coming up in my full forecast.
Tropical Depression Beta brought more heavy rain on the heels of Hurricane Laura to Louisiana. High waters prompted roads to close, so residents of Livingston Parish had to get creative. Dana DiPiazza reports.
High water signs stand tall as the roads and businesses surrounding the Tickfaw River are forced to close.
The water's been, steady rising.
Cameron Faraci is a resident in the Terry Harbor neighborhood. He has a camp a few miles down this road that is completely submerged in water.
It floods almost every storm that comes out here.
As Tropical Depression Beta brews in the Gulf, high winds are pushing several feet of water where it doesn't belong. Because of the current, Cameron says just getting to work is not so simple.
Yeah, I need a boat to get to and from my truck. So you got to wake up extra early at 6 a.m. and, bust it out.
Cameron and his best friend Mike are making it work, using kayaks and paddling to their trucks.
It's chaotic as usual.
But the chaos comes paired with frustration.
When the water comes up, you get people out here sightseeing and pushing water in front of everybody, and it really sucks. And
these inconvenient conditions are driving some Springfield residents away.
I'm actually moving October 13th to get away from the flood, and I can't deal with it anymore.
In the meantime, flash flood warnings and advisories remain active in the area through Wednesday.
I think in the next couple of days the water's gonna level out and it's gonna start to go down. So I know in about Friday it'll be gone.
Meanwhile, at 8:04 now, the storm that was once Hurricane Teddy is now reaching Nova Scotia. Take a look at this right here. You can see the rough surf Wednesday at Heron Cove, which is about 250 miles east of Bangor, Maine. Teddy brought strong winds and heavy rain, knocking out power to more than 15,000 customers. Many schools were closed and public transportation was suspended in some areas. The storm hit Nova Scotia the hardest, but its effects were also felt in neighboring areas.
Another nail in the coffin. That's how a scientist reacted to learning that the Arctic Ocean is losing more of its ice cover. Researchers say the Arctic Sea has reached its minimum extent for the year. They found that the sea ice now covers less than 1.5 million square miles, nearly 100,000 square miles less than last year. In fact, scientists say this year is the second lowest extent on record. At this rate, scientists worry that there could eventually be no ice in the Arctic during the late summer. Arctic sea ice is important because it's influenced climates around the world and the movement of the oceans.
Back here in America, a bit closer to home, federal investigators are looking into the cause of the Bobcat fire, one of the largest fires in Los Angeles County history. It has burned more than 113,000 acres and may have been sparked by the Southern California Edison's utility equipment. It wouldn't be the first time the power company is being blamed for causing major wildfires. Last November, the power company agreed to pay $360 million to settle lawsuits over wildfires sparked by its equipment. The Bobcat fire has destroyed more than 24 homes and is about 40% contained.
And a massive wildfire that's been burning in California for more than 2 weeks has just entered the history books. Fire officials said on Wednesday that the Creek Fire is now the largest single wildfire the state has ever seen. More than 289,000 acres have burned in Fresno and Madera counties, and more than 850 structures have been destroyed. The fire is 32% contained. The Creek Fire is one of 26 major wildfires that are active in California. There are over 18,000 firefighters on those front lines.
And then some lighter news for you this morning. Tuesday was the first day of fall, which brings to mind one pandemic-safe activity you can enjoy from your car. We're talking about leaf peeping. Several new travel websites can help you track when the fall leaves reach their peak color. For example, the Southeast, the National Park Service's site for the Great Smoky Mountains tracks color change based on elevation. NewEngland.com and Yankee Magazine says the best fall colors in the country are in the Northeast. Their website has predictions about where to go and when you need to be there. Experts say it's a great time of year for an activity you can enjoy while safely social distancing in your car. Getting choked up because it's so exciting.
It is. I had never heard of that. Leaf peeping?
Yeah, it sounds like so much fun. Maybe we can do it sometime. And just ahead, things are opening back up. Indiana moving to stage 5. But you might be wondering, what does that mean for all of us?
Yes. And the details after your weather now.
.808 on your Friday morning live look right now over East Mall, a very beautiful shot right there. And as we come back now here into the studio, we're talking about coronavirus. Now, Indiana is moving into stage 5 of its back on track plan. This essentially means the state is open with almost no restrictions. The key word in all of that, almost. As we say goodbye to stage 4.5, the governor says masking up in Indiana is here to stay.
It will go into effect, obviously, on Saturday. So Saturday morning, it will kick in stage 5.
Governor Holcomb announcing news he says was months in the making.
We've come a long way. We don't want to give up that ground that we've advanced on.
Indiana advancing into stage 5 of its back on track plan. The move was originally supposed to happen on the 4th of July, but had to be postponed following a spike in cases during July and August. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Bach says while this is a step in the right direction, we're not out of the woods just yet.
All it takes is one outbreak or a group of people who don't wear masks or don't practice social distancing, and those numbers can spike quickly. It's absolutely imperative that we remember that this is not not a return to life the way we knew it in January or February.
So what are the changes when Indiana moves into stage 5? Social distancing will still be recommended, especially for those over the age of 65 or those who are medically high risk. Most businesses will be able to operate at full capacity. Restaurants, including bars and nightclubs, can be open at 100%, but only if they can keep that social distancing.
Not every establishment will be able to operate at what was their previous full capacity because of that physical distancing and social distancing that must occur.
And while the state continues to reopen, Governor Holcomb wants people to be careful, but also hopes they feel safe.
I've said this before, I never miss a meal. I can vouch at so many restaurants.
And you should know that Indiana will stay in stage 5 with the mask mandate until at least October 17th. Now, the governor says if need be, Indiana will roll back on that reopening and follow the advice of medical experts. As for life here at Ball State, know word tonight if any modifications will be made to BSU's COVID policies. Of course, we'll continue to keep you posted. Also here on campus, Ball State officials sent an email to students yesterday detailing changes to the spring semester. In that email sent by Provost Susana Rivera Mills, she laid out the details of this plan, which was approved by the Board of Trustees. Students will return 1 week later. Important to note there, and there will also not be a spring break next semester. The email says the decision to eliminate spring break was a tough one. Students that I talked to yesterday understand this decision, but they are at the same time disappointed.
That means it's a longer time without seeing my family. I mean, I get it, but it does make me a little sad.
It's been hard getting adjusted to everything, but I think the university's done a pretty good job of giving us opportunities.
Mills says more adjustments will likely be made with how courses are taught, and information should be released within the coming weeks.
And some more with the coronavirus. United Airlines is set to become the first U.S. airline to offer coronavirus testing for passengers. Starting October 15th, it will offer testing for customers flying from San Francisco International Airport to airports in Hawaii. The airline will use a rapid 15-minute test at the airport prior to security screening. It will also offer a mail-in option to be completed in the days before departure. Hawaii currently requires travelers to quarantine for 14 days after arriving there. In conjunction with United's testing program, the governor plans to drop that requirement if a traveler has a negative coronavirus test starting October 15th. And at least 22 states are now reporting a rise in the number of the new coronavirus cases. That's up from 9 states last Monday. Some of the top experts on the president's coronavirus task force are warning that young Americans can spread COVID-19, contradicting Trump's recent comments on the issue. At a hearing in the Senate, top doctors on the Trump administration's coronavirus task force gave lawmakers a dose of straight talk, straying repeatedly from the president's recent misleading comments on COVID-19.
Majority of our nation, more than 90% of the population remains susceptible. It's imperative that these young adults recognize that even though they are unlikely to get seriously ill from this virus, they are major contributors to the spread of COVID-19 in our country at this time.
That national weather forecast. Good morning, Nathan.
Hey, taking a look here at national weather. We got a lot of fire weather advisories here out in the west, and that dangerous wildfire situation continues. Fire weather watches, red flag warnings, and air quality alerts out here in the west, as well as out here in the Central Valley of California, still dealing with those smoky and hazy conditions. Wildfire still a big problem out here in the west, certainly tracking that very closely here this week. Looking here out east, we have some dense fog advisory here this morning for a couple of sections there. Take your time if you're heading out in those locations this morning. And here across the south, as that tropical moisture from Beta continues to work through, have some coastal flood advisory as well as some river flood warnings in effect for some of those locations. Here on radar, you can see this tropical moisture continuing here across the southeast. A lot of heavy rainfall on some of these locations here this morning, as well as some rain showers here up to the north here in the Pacific Northwest. Could even see a few snow showers there across the area as well. We track the tropical moisture here pushing its way out of the southeast here, as well as some moisture here off to this in the northwest here as well, seeing this continuing in the upper elevations there as well this afternoon. We could see a few severe storms as well up here in the Wisconsin and Minnesota area throughout the day as well. Temperatures here this morning, we see nice cool start here across the eastern section of the country. Warm as well off in the desert southwest when we reach the highs today here this afternoon. Nice and toasty here across the central Great Plains. Comfortable conditions here across the east and a little bit warmer there off to the southeast as well. Hot temperatures though in the southwest, and we got a lot of weekend events here across the southwest as well, as we have the NASCAR Cup Series taken to the track there at Las Vegas Motor Speedway there. 99 degrees by the time the drivers get in the car there. 4 o'clock local time start, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Kicking off the round of 12 of the NASCAR playoffs here. Kevin Harvick on the pole. Should be a great race there. Very hot conditions though for that race. Hot conditions, the story here across the west, but look here across the east. Just soak in this graphic here. This is this unbelievable temperature divide here. Below average temperatures in the next 6 to 10 days, courtesy of the Climate Prediction Center's outlook. Just a very sharp temperature divide across the country as we track this on the jet stream moving on through. Could see a cutoff low there as well. Certainly very cold conditions here across the eastern section of the country. So certainly fall's going to come back in a big way here later this week, guys.
All right, and thank you so much, Nathan. In just a moment, your space news. We've got a look at a trashy situation NASA had to deal with.
That sounds gross.
I
That's
know.
after a message from Mid. Stay with us.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
8:17, once again a live look over part of campus this morning. It's very beautiful out there. It looks like the sun has risen, so of course we will hopefully have a beautiful day on tap. Chris will have a little more on that coming up here in just a moment. Let's go ahead now and talk about some of your space news. The International Space Station had a close call this week, and really, let's just say it could have been a smelly situation. Astronauts had to make a move to avoid hitting some debris, and of course NASA, they're saying that this is the third time in 2 weeks that this has happened, that they've came in close contact with space trash. No crew members were injured, and the astronauts were able to continue regular activities. There are millions of pieces of space trash, which includes parts of rockets as well as satellites, and back in February, the president, he put in a $15 million request to help the space program respond to issues like this. Madison, what else you got?
Well, NASA's work in outer space may help make travel on Earth a little easier. The space agency developed laser-based technology for lunar landings, and it soon could be for everyday use. The intelligence gathered from the technology will be used to aid self-driving cars get through rush hour traffic. This will be tested further on suborbital rocket launches.
Hey Chris, let's take it from space back here in Muncie. What are we talking about with local weather this morning? It's starting to feel like fall out there.
Well, it is still starting to feel like fall. Temperatures are still going to be on a little bit warmer side, but this morning we've been staying on more of those cooler temperatures. 56 here in Indianapolis, 52 in Shelbyville, as well as 52 here in Muncie. Now, what we're going to be expecting for most of the day today, sunny skies, temperatures slowly increasing up into those upper 70s. Surrounding cities, we're going to be looking around those upper 70s, lower 80s throughout most of the day, still bringing those sunny conditions. Now tonight, we're going to be dropping down, once again, back down to those mid-50s. Clear skies, perfect time to be able to go out, stargaze, maybe even have a campfire with friends or family. Now, as we're looking into radar, we're going to be staying pretty much clear throughout most of the day today, and moving into precision cast, we're going to be staying still, clear skies, dry conditions. This is going to be persisting throughout most of the day into tonight, as well as tomorrow afternoon into the evening time. So as we start continuing, we're going to see maybe just a few clouds around Saturday, during those morning hours into the evening hours. Tomorrow, Saturday highs, we're going to be reaching around those mid-80s, 84 in Indianapolis, as well as here in Muncie. Tomorrow night, we're going to drop once again back down into the lower 60s. Winds kick up a little bit more, 10 to 15 miles per hour coming out of the south. Now, a big story of those cooler temperatures. We stay warm the rest of this week, but by Monday, we start looking at the dip. Temperatures slowly start decreasing as we start going down. These cooler temperatures are all due to this dip in the jet stream, or a trough as we call it. This trough starts progressing more eastward, slowly start dropping these temperatures later in the week, and that starts bringing those temperatures back down into the lower 50s. And this is going to be definitely persistent as we look below average temperatures for our area. Folks out west, we're sitting above average. It's not going to be helping out too much with that wildfire situation. So how cold is it going to get? We're going to be looking at warmer temperatures throughout the rest of the week. Temperatures slowly start falling down into those upper 60s, 60% chance of showers. As that cooler weather starts coming in, we're going to start seeing more heavier winds start coming through. Temperatures slowly start to decrease back down into the upper 50s. So hopefully, if you guys love fall, I'm a huge fall lover, so I'm seriously excited for next week. I don't want any more of this week. I want next week to come back. Please start bringing that sweater weather and those nice comfy clothes.
It's football weather.
Yeah,
it is football
That's
weather.
What I
yes,
think
it is.
If only we had some Ball State football to celebrate, but 80s this weekend, that's so unseasonably warm.
Yeah, it's above average, but next week, then we start going below average. Our temperatures are definitely fluctuating a lot more.
Think about it, though. You can always take off layers, but you can never add them on. So, like, if it's cold, you can be prepared.
I think it feels below average in this newsroom. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys.
It's always cold in here. It's always fall-like. Sometimes it's even winter-like in here. Of course, we know you're going to continue to keep us updated. Chris, thank you so much. And we've got some more stuff to talk about here, Madison.
We do. Just ahead, a look at some of this week's top stories in your Cardinal Weather News Minute.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Breonna Taylor case, as well as a new group that's making its way here to Delaware County. Stay with us.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at some of the top stories from this week in your Cardinal Weather News Minute. One person is behind bars this morning after being accused of shooting 2 Louisville police officers. Investigators say 26-year-old Lorenzo Johnson was arrested on 2 counts of first-degree assault and 14 counts of endangerment. Both officers are expected to recover. They were shot on Wednesday night during the protest over the Breonna Taylor case. Protests erupted across the country after a grand jury failed to indict any of the officers involved in Taylor's death. People continue to mourn the loss of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ginsburg has been laying in repose since Wednesday at the Supreme Court. She will lie in state today in the U.S. Capitol. Ginsburg died after complications from metastatic pancreas cancer. She was 87 years old. The viral hashtag Save Our Children movement is now active here in Muncie. The group has started meeting via Zoom and holding marches and events. The goal is to bring awareness to the signs of children who could become victims of sexual abuse. Anyone who wants to donate can find them on Facebook under Save Our Children Muncie. And that's your News Minute here on this Friday morning. Let's go ahead now and send it into the newsroom for Breaking Down the Science. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, and on this segment of Breaking Down the Science, I will be talking about the difference between astronomical and meteorological fall. So meteorological fall is basically the seasons determined on an annual temperature cycle, and the meteorologists and climatologists tend to use this to determine the weather events and to forecast and analyze weather patterns. And astronomical fall is basically the seasons determined on the position of the sun relative to the Earth. And so the reason that seasons occur has to do with Earth's tilt, and the day length and sun angle are influenced by this as well. And the reason why the seasons tend to be shorter or longer depending on which season we are in has to do with Earth's orbit, and Earth moves in an elliptical orbit. So the sun and the Earth aren't necessarily the exact same distance from each other all year round, which is why spring and summer tend to be longer than fall and winter do. With that, specifically with the fall season, the first day of fall, meteorological fall, was September 1st, and astronomical fall actually just started 3 days ago on September 22nd, and that was the first day of the autumnal equinox. And I'm going to diagram that here for you guys. An equinox is basically when the sun passes directly over the Earth's equator. And on this day, September 22nd, there was exactly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. And as we continue to progress through the fall season and into the winter season, they're going to gradually start to get less hours of sunlight and more hours of nighttime, creating less hours of sunshine and more hours of evening. And so basically that's why we turn our clocks back in the fall and our clocks forward in the spring. So spring forward, fall back. So be on the lookout over the next couple of weeks as that time is coming soon. So that's all for this segment of Breaking Down the Science, and now back to Tyler and Madison.
All right, Morgan, thank you so much. Are you hungry, Madison?
I'm actually starving.
I am starving too. So it's a common theme whenever you're here. We got to talk about Chipotle. We got to talk about what they have going on. The restaurant chain is bringing back a popular kind of new menu item. We're talking about the carne asada. It's been off the menu now for about a year and a half. The marinated steak option was on the menu for about 4 months. In September 2019, it was so popular. Guess what? They ran out of it. Chipotle said more than 10 million customers ordered carne asada in its initial run. Rewards members, they can start ordering carne asada beginning Tuesday online or through the mobile Chipotle app, and it's going to be hitting menu boards and delivery apps beginning September 28th. So, last time we had a Chipotle story on, I got a little upset with you.
I know.
I was kind of irritated. Do you remember that?
I do, and I am so sad to inform you that I have yet to try queso from anywhere.
Well, you know what? Here we go. How about we take a look back at that moment? It was one of those crazy times. I think it's important to remind everybody what happened. Take a look. Potentially, maybe. Do we not have it? Okay, so we don't have it. We might have it here in a second, but you know what? I came prepared, Madison.
What?
I am ready to go, okay? I'm going to make sure I keep social distancing here. We had to do this.
My goodness.
Oh, can I find it?
Am I about to try queso?
Go ahead and take a look at this while I get us ready for a little bit of snack time here. Take a look.
Maybe I should ask her, because I've never tried queso before. And I've heard Chipotle is the place to go.
I'm done. I am walking off. This is absurd.
I know.
Are you serious?
I know.
Well,
Next story, please.
You can tell we love food here at Cardinal. We're getting a little too excited.
Wanted to have her try queso for the first time?
Our original plan was to have her try queso today, but
that's what I would
obviously
go viral with, was not knowing queso.
Yeah, well, hey, we can still have you try queso maybe sometime in the near future.
Nice live stream. I'll do it.
Long story short, I had to hold you to it.
My goodness.
We got the chips here.
Okay.
We've got the salsa con queso, or actually, yeah, salsa con queso.
Okay.
Because myself and our executive producer, Gabe Pro, we could not find just normal queso.
Okay.
So yeah, take a chip.
Wow.
By the way,
queso for breakfast, everyone.
I told Annie about this yesterday. She was so upset. She's like, the 1 week I'm gone, you're going to bring food onto the show.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. It's a magical moment. How is it?
They're actually so good.
How have you not tried it until now?
I've literally missed out on this for like 20 years of my life.
It was about time. By the way, this looks so good.
No,
I have
it
to
is.
sneak a bite.
I didn't realize how hungry I was.
Well, you know what? It's early in the morning. Chris, are we going to be able to enjoy our chips and queso outside today?
Well, I'm definitely a fan of chips and queso. That's really a really cool thing. And speaking of those cool temperatures, we're definitely going to be seeing temperatures falling back down into the 60s and even 50s next week, bringing some rain showers to start off the work week.
I got stuff stuck in my teeth now. I've got the chips like everywhere.
That is
like
so
coating
funny.
inside
Oh
of my mouth.
my goodness. I'm so thankful for this. Thank you, Cardinal Weather.
No problem. Anytime
I'm so happy I got to be here this
got to
morning.
try new things here.
I love it. I love it. Well, sadly, that is all we have for Cardinal Weather for this Friday morning, but thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, hopefully we have this much fun next week. We'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great weekend.